Hello there. Hi everybody. Good morning. Morning guys. Good afternoon, good evening. I don't know which part of the world you're watching from. This is your boy Dezamos. Beautiful, glorious week, and I'm having the walk today. First of all, guys, if you're new to my channel, if you're just coming in, if you're just joining the family, please like, share, and subscribe as you enjoy this video. And if you have been with me all along, definitely, please, you're most welcome back. I love you all and appreciate you all. Now, in today's subject, I'm going to talk about specifically the narcissists and the generational curse. Now, it might this goes many ways, because it can be that situation whereby you're one of those people who have been who are born in a narcissistic family. Maybe you have a mother who is a narcissist, maybe you have your dad is a narcissist, and somewhere, somehow, during your life, you get caught up, you find yourself getting caught up in the middle, and you just can't move on. You just can't move on with your life. You just don't know what to do with yourself, so you just get stuck in that kind of a family, narcissistic family, and life has probably been very, very difficult with you and for you, and you do not know what to do with your life. So first of all, there is something you need to understand. In that family where you're born, those narcissists, you need to realize that that family, you might have noticed, you could have noticed that there is a pattern. There is a specific pattern you're noticing in that family. There's a way they are doing those things. There are things. There are some things you're seeing, and probably you have started to question a lot of things. Maybe there's a certain illness. You're realizing that in that family, there is a certain illness, a certain sickness. Maybe it can be blood pressure, maybe it can be diabetes, or maybe you've realized that there's a certain specific, it could be even cancer, it could be so many things. So you realize there's a certain pattern of illnesses following that family. You could be the special one, or the excluded one from that ailment or from that illness. Or you could also realize that in that family there is a pattern of failure. Most of the people who live in that family, they are failures. They can't do nothing for themselves. They can't get married. They're always keeping jumping in and out of jobs. They get one job today, tomorrow they get another one, the next week they get another one. Or you might find that sometimes even they are the people who is always in the prisons. They're always being arrested. They have been caught stealing something. They have been caught doing drugs or something. So there's a certain type of a curse following up in that family. So most of the time you need to understand that narcissists, they tend to have some things, some patterns of things following them all along their life, whether it is them or whether it is their parents or whether it is their great-grandparents or the great-great-grand ones. So there has always been something, a specific pattern following them, going along with them during their life and in that family. So you, as a person who is in that family, that narcissistic family, you're going to realize that life can always be very, very tough for you. You know what I mean? It can be very tough for you because you are the only person who is like, you're like the punching bag of the family. You're the punching bag of the family, if I can call it like that. You know, the boxers, they go to the gym and they are punching some bags. So you're like the emotional punching bag. The mother is punching you emotionally, the father is punching you emotionally, your sisters are punching you emotionally, your brothers are punching you emotionally. So you're being dragged from all corners, and you find yourself in that kind of a family whereby you don't even know what to do with yourself. Now, in this video, my main intention of this video is a piece of advice, because you see, as long as you hang on, as long as you convince yourself and you want to hang on to that family, you always have to remind yourself that there's nothing you can do to change the situation. It has always been like that, even before you, even before your parents, even before their parents. There's been those series of events happening in that family, and things will never be the same. So that family, it has got to carry on with that whatever it is, pattern of events, the generational curse. I call it a generational curse because this is like these are specific patterns. A generational curse is a series of patterns of events, things that can happen in a family for generations and generations. So even if your parents are gone, that thing could carry on with your kids. Your kids will grow up, they will experience a similar kind of a pattern. When they live, when they die, when they pass on, their kids will do the same. So it's like a generation, it's a pattern of very unusual and rare events that happen and are carried on. It can also be a tradition, actually. Sometimes it can be a tradition whereby those people believe in certain things. You know what I mean? There are some families which believe in witchcraft. So you can find that a family has always had witchcraft in their DNA for generations and generations. So the only way I would think that you could break a generational curse is to, first of all, if you are somebody who is out there and you're in a family which is very dysfunctional, because most of those families, narcissist families, they are very, very dysfunctional families. You can find that your father is the kind of guy who likes getting married to 10 women, 20 women, you know what I mean? So he's the kind of guy who is, or your mother, you can find that she's the kind of woman who likes having kids with 5 or 6 or 7 different men. So there can be so many things in those families, but most of the time narcissistic families, they are very, very dysfunctional. And it can be very hard to see when you're when you're at a young age. It can be very hard to notice and very hard to see. But when you carry on with time, you're going to realize that you're realizing a specific pattern in that family where you're born. There's a specific pattern you're seeing, and that pattern is actually confusing you. Now that thing you might have seen, however much you will try to normalize it, and you will try to think that it's a normal pattern of events, but you will see that actually that thing, it has even been seen in your with your grandparents. So for example, if you've had your grandparents, you've also seen that pattern in that same family. So generational curses, they are common. But the only thing I can tell you is that if you're a person who is under narcissistic abuse, narcissist can be your mother also, can be your father. So you can have a family whereby you are under narcissistic abuse, and the only thing you only have to do with yourself, the best thing you can do for yourself, is to find a way to excuse yourself. Because you see, for you to get freedom, you have got to move. You have got to make the power move. You know what I mean? Because freedom comes at a cost. Freedom, there's always a price to pay. Freedom can never find you in your comfort zone sitting somewhere, and then all of a sudden freedom will come to you, and you will break free of whatever is happening to you. But you always have to understand that when you find yourself in a narcissistic family, you're also sitting and you've realized that you've faced and you've seen a certain series of events which happen to be a generational curse. So those people are struggling with some things, illnesses. It can be illnesses, it can be addictions, it can be so many things. But those things, it's like they're embedded within that family's DNA, and they have always followed that family for a very long period of time. So you have got to make sure that when you notice there's a certain thing which happens to be a really big problem, and those people, your parents or your brothers, they are normalizing that event. They are thinking that, okay, yeah, so it's normal, that's the way things are. And for you, in your heart, you think that, well, that is not normal. That is not possible and it's not normal. You are definitely dealing with a generational curse. So you have got to find a way how to find your excuse, find your freedom, because the only way you're going to break free and the only way you can find your freedom is by, first of all, excusing and excluding yourself from that family. Because when you exclude, when you move from that family, that is the only way you're going to find that God will actually now reveal His true power upon you, and He will reveal to you a new family that is meant to stay and to be in your life. So if you're out there and you've been struggling one way or the other, your mother is abusing you, or maybe your father is abusing you, or maybe your auntie, maybe your uncle, so there's a member in your family that is actually happening to abuse you, you have to make sure that you separate yourself from that family first of all, and then you're going to find your blessing along the way, because we can all agree to disagree that you cannot stay near a narcissist and you'll become your better version. There is no way around it. There's no sugarcoating around it, because it is what it is. You need to accept the things the way they are, and take things for what they are, and understand that there is no way you're going to stay around people, whether these are your mothers. Sometimes you even have to abandon your own mothers if they're narcissists. Sometimes even you have to abandon your fathers, even your brothers and sisters. Because a narcissist is a narcissist. The programming is still the same. You know what I mean? There's nothing you can do about that. That thing is like a software in their heads. There's nothing you can do about it. The only way you have to do, first of all, if you ever find yourself in front of a narcissist and you've actually discovered that those people are actually narcissists, you have got to make sure that you find every reason in your power. Get all your shit together and get all reasons in your power to make sure that you excuse yourself from that family. Because I know it's very hard. It can be very hard. It's a very, very tough feeling. You know, it's too hard to move. It's very hard to detach from a narcissist. Sometimes even it's more harder. If the narcissist is your mother, it's more harder even to separate from her, because those people that have already bonded you since you were a kid. You know what I mean? So it's very, very difficult to break that kind of a bond with a mother or even with a father sometimes. But it's the only way. Unfortunately, this is the only way you can always find your freedom, because a narcissist is always the same. The software is the same and the programming is the same. There's really nothing you can do. So, get yourself together. If you're in that family which is broken, it's a broken family, it's a narcissistic family, that family definitely, they are struggling with some sort of a curse. They are struggling with something. They can be struggling with a lot of debts. They can be struggling with homelessness. They can be struggling with they are the people who can't get married. They can be struggling with high blood pressure. They can be struggling with cancer. They can be struggling. It's so many things in that family, and you have got to know that that thing has always been there, even before you, even before those parents of yours. It has even been there with your grandparents. So that is like something which is going on. It's a recurring series of events that is happening, and that is called a generational curse. So when you find yourself submerged, completely, deeply submerged in a family with those kind of curses, those kind of generational curses, you have got to make sure you find all ways to excuse and to eliminate yourself. It can be very, very hard to move. It can be very hard sometimes even you even have to leave the town, because when you still hang around in that same town where you've lived all your time with that family, with the generational curse, it may be very hard for you, because they always keep on poking their nose in your affairs and finding you, trying to find where you're living, trying to check on you all the time. So it will be very, very hard to disconnect from them. But you have got to move. Sometimes it requires you even to move from your city and move to a next city or a next town for that matter. So guys, I really love you all. It's something I wanted to say very quickly today, because it came in my mind and I was thinking about it, because I've already seen it before. I've seen it around, and I wanted to share it with you. So if you're a person who is in that family and you're realizing a certain sequence of events in that family, it is very, very possible that actually that family, it has got also a generational curse, and the only way to separate yourself from that curse is by eliminating and excusing yourself from that family, because it's a dysfunctional family. So guys, other than that, Denzel Moses Unscripted signing out. Love you all guys. Stay blessed, and please share, like, share and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't done so. And until then, see you in my next video, and bye. Peace out.